There are things moving above us, things we were never meant to see. Every day, people around the world are capturing footage of strange lights in the sky, hovering objects, perfect formations, silent flashes that vanish without a trace. Some call them drones, others say they're natural, but more and more the answers don't fit the evidence. What if we're not alone in the sky? What if they're showing themselves, slowly, carefully, not all at once, but piece by piece? Tonight on X-Site, we follow the sightings you weren't supposed to notice. Not stories, not rumors, but real footage, real moments, and the people who saw something unexplainable. Stay with us until the end, because what you're about to see might change how you look at the sky forever. February 28th, 2025. Somewhere over the vast, endless blue of the Pacific Ocean. Inside a commercial airliner cruising at 36,000 feet, most passengers were asleep. The cabin lights were dimmed. Just the hum of the engines and the occasional clink of a coffee cup. Outside the windows, the sky stretched forever, black and speckled with stars. But then, something moved. A woman in seat 14A leaned forward, squinting through the window. At first, she thought they were stars, but they were too bright, too close, too coordinated. 5 glowing orbs, they moved with perfect symmetry, forming a line, then a shallow arc, then back to a line again. No flicker, no blinking. No wings, no trails of heat or smoke. They weren't part of the plane, they weren't reflections, they were flying beside the aircraft, and they weren't random. Each orb glided like it had intent, like it could see. Passengers began to notice. Quiet murmurs turned into low gasps. Phones rose, recording in shaky hands. The footage would later show the orbs maintaining precise distance, each one adjusting subtly, as if tethered to the next by invisible threads. They made no sound. No vibrations reached the cabin. Yet every person watching felt a pressure in their chest, like they were being weighed from the outside. The orbs rotated gently in unison. They shimmered not with harsh light, but with something softer, like moonlight reflecting on metal submerged in deep water. At one point, one of them edged slightly closer to the plane, then drifted back as if scanning. For nearly 10 minutes, they flew in formation beside the aircraft. Then, with impossible elegance, they began to vanish, not like a light being turned off, more like fog burning away under sunlight, one by one gone. No radar saw them, no tower acknowledged them, no country claimed them. But for those on board, the experience felt intentional, like the lights had come not to hide, but to be seen. Seen and remembered. It was just past midnight when the light appeared. The suburbs of Illinois were quiet, no wind, no traffic. Only the occasional bark of a distant dog or the rustle of bare branches. Above the houses, the stars shimmered. But near the horizon, something else glowed. A single white orb, too bright to be a star, too low to be a satellite. It hovered motionless above a residential neighborhood, silent, suspended like a thought left hanging in the air. An older man, stepping outside for a breath of cold air, saw it first. He stood frozen on his porch, breath visible in the dark. Then he whispered, almost to himself, "That's no plane." He raised his phone with trembling fingers and began to record. Through the lens, the object grew clearer. A glowing sphere, perfectly smooth, spinning slowly, not around a central axis, but in a lazy, hypnotic drift. No wings, no blinking lights, no red or green markers, no sound. Then, as if it noticed him, it tilted, just slightly, then more. And before the man could adjust his focus, the orb shot upward, not fast, but instantly. A blur. A streak gone, no sound followed, no wind, just silence. The man's phone shook in his hand as he lowered it. His dog had come outside, whimpering low. Later, when the video was posted, it sparked debate. Was it a drone, a weather balloon, a misidentified aircraft? But experts pointed out, No known drone could hover silently at that height, spin in place, and vanish without acceleration. One physicist remarked, "It moved as if inertia didn't apply. It didn't bend the laws of physics. It ignored them." And the strangest thing? In the frame-by-frame playback, just before it vanished, there was a flicker, barely visible, a shift in the light around the orb, like heat rising from pavement or space folding. Whatever it wasn't just flying, it was watching. January 8th, 2025. Just before dawn in Jackson, New Jersey. The sky was bruised with the purple haze of early morning. Thick fog clung to the tree line like a curtain yet to be pulled. Then above the trees, something massive emerged. At first glance, it seemed like a cloud, but clouds don't glow from beneath, and they don't stay still with that kind of presence. It was a craft, enormous, oddly shaped and pale in color, as if made from polished bone or sunless steel. There were no wings, no cockpit. It was smooth, uneven, organic even, but it hovered with mechanical precision. A man driving to work stopped his car, engine idling. He stepped out, phone in hand. Others began to gather, neighbors in slippers, some barefoot, all silent. The object made no sound, not even a hum. Its motionless posture made it feel almost alive, like it was observing, calculating. Then it moved, not forward, not up or down. It turned, its entire body rotating with unnatural fluidity, like it was pivoting around the air itself. A woman murmured, "It's too big to be that quiet." Then in one long, deliberate movement, it ascended straight into the fog. Within seconds, it vanished from view. But for those below, the silence that followed wasn't peace. It was the kind of silence that came after being watched. The nights in Latin America grew stranger as January progressed. In the highlands of Guatemala, the sky was clear and full of stars when 3 glowing orbs appeared, perfectly spaced. They pulsed not like lights but like breathing things. They hovered without motion, casting a soft glow over the jungle trees. There was no wind, no animal sounds, just stillness. Locals gathered in the open, their eyes locked upward. Some filmed, others just stared. Then, without warning, one orb dimmed and disappeared. The other 2 followed in silence. No trails, no bursts, only vanishing. Far away in Puerto Rico, a fisherman on a lonely beach witnessed a glowing white light drifting above the ocean. It didn't move in straight lines. It curved like it was swimming through the air. Sometimes it flickered as if reacting to something unseen. In Curitiba, Brazil, residents spotted multiple kite-shaped objects hanging in the sky. They weren't moving, yet they held their position against strong gusts. Their colors shifted, amber, emerald, violet, like glass catching changing sunlight. And in the coastal mountains of Chile, something darker moved. A black cylinder, smooth and silent, cutting through the sky from west to east. It left no trail, no light, only a sense of unease. Each event was recorded, each left questions, none brought answers. January 24th, 2025. Oklahoma skies. Chris Frederick was testing his drone on a clear night near Will Rogers World Airport. As a licensed pilot and teacher, he knew the skies, he knew airspace, he knew aircraft, but that night he saw something he could not explain. Hovering above a neighborhood streetlight was a dark, egg-shaped object. It was perfectly still, unmoving, unblinking. Not a light, not a drone. Just a silent, solid presence in the sky. Chris tried to lift his drone. The controls responded, but the drone refused to take off. Nearby, another man's drone froze midair and dropped like a stone. People stepped outside their homes, staring upward. Some felt static on their skin. Dogs barked, then whimpered, then fell silent. After nearly 20 minutes of stillness, the object rotated slightly. Just enough to reveal that its surface wasn't metal. It rippled like the reflection on dark water. Then, without wind or flame or thrust, it rose straight up, gone in 2 seconds. The FAA reported nothing unusual that night. But the pilots in Oklahoma had seen it, and so had the people. Something hovered in their sky, and it had no interest in hiding. Across the world, in early 2025, passengers on commercial planes became unwitting observers of something extraordinary. A man flying over California pointed his phone toward a glowing sphere just outside the window. It seemed to drift beside the plane, impossibly close, holding position as if pacing them through the clouds. In Brazil, another passenger captured an orb above a cityscape, hovering perfectly still. No wires, no propulsion. It simply existed, motionless over the skyline. Over New York, a soft, shimmering shape floated alongside a jetliner. Its outline flickered. Its color changed from gold to violet to silver, like it couldn't decide what it wanted to be. Pilots didn't report it. Instruments saw nothing, but the passengers did, and the footage was impossible to ignore. For the first time, commercial flight no longer felt routine, because above the clouds, something else was flying too. In the desert air of Las Vegas, 6 white lights aligned above the city like beads on a string. They did not blink. They did not drift. They hung there, too slow for planes, too straight for birds. A family filmed from their backyard. One light began to drift sideways. Another pulsed softly. Then, one by one, they disappeared into the darkness, not down, not up, just away. In North Carolina, 3 red lights formed a perfect triangle over a suburban street. They rotated slowly, deliberately, casting no light on the ground. No sound. No breeze. In Nebraska, a glowing line shot across the sky, then broke apart like liquid light. 2 orbs peeled off in opposite directions. The third remained behind, silent and still. These weren't casual sightings. They were formations, like patterns left for someone to see. But who were they meant for? January 11th, 2025. Just before sunrise in Denver, Colorado. The sky was gray and flat, no stars, no movement. Then, in a sudden burst, the air lit green. A flash, a sphere, a ripple of something breaking through. Witnesses looked up and saw an object glowing softly in the clouds. It hovered for a moment. Then something dropped from it. A shape shadowed and thin like falling debris, but it never hit the ground. Seconds later, the object vanished. There were no sonic booms, no seismic activity, only the lingering echo of light and fear. Experts tried to analyze the footage. Frame by frame, they noted a disturbance around the object, like reality itself bending. It didn't enter our space. It forced its way through. February 2025. Across the globe, the sky erupted with silent signals. In London, several orange spheres hovered above a busy train station. Then, as people pointed upward, one slowly drifted away while the others simply dissolved into the clouds. In Oregon, a strange orb shifted colors midair, cycling like a beacon, red, green, amber, then vanishing. In Utah, 7 lights formed a circle over a quiet town. One shot off toward the hills, another blinked out. The rest waited. They weren't hiding anymore. They weren't subtle. They appeared in cities, in the open, above airports. They weren't visitors in secret. They were signals in plain sight. Each sighting raised one final question: were these warnings? Were these just drones, or something far more intelligent? We may never know who or what is behind these sightings. But one thing is clear: they are here, and they are watching. The real question is, why now? Why 2025? Why so many? Let us know what you think. Have you seen something like this before? Would you want them to make contact, or would you rather they stay in the shadows? Share your thoughts in the comments. And remember, the sky may look empty, but X-Sight is always watching.